There's a tiny village in Okinawa, Japan called Ogami, where people don't just live longer than almost anyone else on Earth. They live better. 90-year-olds tending gardens, 100-year-olds cooking for their families, laughing with their friends, waking up with a clear reason to open their eyes every single morning. And when researchers asked them, "What's your secret?" no one mentioned a strict morning routine or a productivity app. What they found instead was this concept, Ikigai, which loosely translates to your reason for getting up in the morning, your reason for being. So today, I'm walking you through what Ikigai actually is and the 9 lessons that genuinely shifted something in me. These aren't abstract ideas. These are daily lived practices from people who figured something out that most of us have forgotten. Before we get into the lessons, I want to make sure we understand what Ikigai actually means. You've probably seen the Venn diagram. 4 circles. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. And where they all overlap, that's your Ikigai. So when people first encounter this idea, there's often immediate anxiety. You suddenly feel this immense pressure to define your life's grand purpose right now, in this moment, perfectly. Here's the thing though. In Japan, Ikigai is something much simpler. It doesn't have to be your career. It doesn't have to be your life's grand purpose. It can be as simple as tending your garden in the morning, playing with your grandchildren, making your neighbor a bowl of soup. Ikigai is just the small, specific thing that makes you feel, yes, this is why I'm here today. Keep that in mind as we go through these lessons because none of them are dramatic, but together they paint a completely different picture of what it means to live well. Lesson 1. Never fully retire. This one might be the most counterintuitive thing in the entire book. We work jobs that drain us, counting down to a finish line called retirement, where we'll finally start living. The idea that one day you'll finally stop, you'll rest, you'll travel, you'll do whatever you want. But the research in Ikigai suggests that retiring completely, fully stepping back from purpose and contribution, might actually shorten your life. The people in Okinawa don't really retire. They don't really have a concept of retirement. Even at 90, 95, 100, they're in the garden, they're cooking, they're teaching the younger generation. They're doing something that makes them feel useful. The lesson isn't that you should grind forever. It's that you should never stop contributing. Never stop having a reason to show up. Because the moment we feel we're no longer needed, something in us starts to let go. So ask yourself, what will you keep doing no matter how old you get? Lesson 2. Find your flow. Flow is the state where you're so completely absorbed in what you're doing that you lose track of time. You're not bored, you're not anxious, you're just in it. Think about the last time you felt that. Maybe you were writing something, cooking, drawing, problem solving, and suddenly an hour passed and you had no idea. That's flow. And according to Ikigai, experiencing flow regularly is one of the most important things you can do for your well-being. The trick is that flow happens in a very specific zone. The task has to be challenging enough to engage you, but not so hard it overwhelms you. Too easy, boredom. Too hard, anxiety. Right in the middle, flow. The centenarians in Okinawa find their flow in everyday things. Fishing, pottery, calligraphy, gardening. It doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to pull you in. You need at least one corner of your life, a hobby, a side project, a craft, where you lose yourself completely. Those are the hours you're most alive. So what's your flow activity? And when did you last actually do it? Lesson 3. Hara Hachibu. Eat until 80% full. It's a phrase they say before meals like a kind of prayer. It means eat until you're 80% full. Stop when you're satisfied, not stuffed. The signal for fullness takes about 20 minutes to travel from your stomach to your brain. In our culture, we eat fast, we eat distracted, we eat massive portions. By the time your brain gets the memo that you're full, you've already overeaten significantly. The Okinawans use small bowls. Eat slowly. Stop before the feeling of fullness arrives. And on average, they consume significantly fewer calories than people in the West. But what I find beautiful about this is the mindfulness behind it. It's about paying attention, eating with your body, not against it. It's also deeply connected to the concept of not being excessive, not taking more than you need. That philosophy runs through the whole book. And honestly, it applies to more than food. How often do we consume content, entertainment, information past the point of satisfaction just because it's there? Lesson 4. Moai. Build your community. In Okinawa, there's a social structure called moai. It's a group of people, usually formed in childhood, who commit to supporting each other for life. Financially, emotionally, socially. When one person in the group struggles, the group shows up. When someone needs money for a medical emergency, the group contributes. When someone is grieving, they're not grieving alone. Loneliness is as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It raises cortisol, weakens the immune system, accelerates cognitive decline. And yet, we've built a world where isolation is the default. We have followers, contacts, group chats, but your moai is your tribe, the handful of people who would notice if you weren't there. The Okinawans gather daily. They gossip, they laugh, they sit in comfortable silence. It's not an event on a calendar. It's the baseline rhythm of life. A joy shared is doubled, and a burden shared is halved. So I have to ask, who is your moai? And if you don't have one, what's one small step you can take today to start building it? Lesson 5. Wabi-sabi. Embrace imperfection. Wabi-sabi is one of those Japanese concepts that genuinely doesn't have a direct English translation. But once you feel it, you understand it immediately. It's the art of finding beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. Picture a ceramic bowl that broke, and instead of throwing it away, someone repaired the cracks with gold. The damage isn't hidden, it becomes the most beautiful part. It tells the story. Now apply that to your life. We spend so much energy trying to be flawless, curating the perfect image, hiding our struggles, pretending we have it all together. And it's exhausting. Wabi-sabi says, your cracks are not disqualifications. Your scars, your failures, your awkward phases, that's the gold. That's what makes you interesting, relatable, human. The practice is to stop hiding. Forgive your own imperfections. Let go of the polished, flawless version of yourself that doesn't actually exist. Lesson 6. Manage stress. It ages you. Stress is not just unpleasant. It's physically, biologically wearing you down. Chronic stress raises cortisol levels, which damages your cells, suppresses your immune system, disrupts your sleep, and actually shortens your telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps on your DNA. The shorter they are, the faster you age at a cellular level. The centenarians in Okinawa aren't stress-free. Life is life. There's loss, hardship, difficulty. But they have a different relationship with stress. They don't catastrophize. They don't ruminate. They let things move through them. A few things the book suggests. Do less, rest intentionally, sleep seriously, spend time in nature, have rituals that signal to your nervous system you are safe, you're okay. And surround yourself with people who bring you peace. The point is, stress isn't going to disappear, But you can build a life that processes it more gracefully. A life with pockets of calm, with people who hold you steady, with a reason that makes the hard days worth it. Lesson 7. Stay active. Gently. The people in Okinawa who live to 100 are not punishing their bodies in the name of fitness. They're walking, they're gardening, they're doing a little yoga, they practice Tai Chi, Qigong, and traditional dance. They're moving naturally throughout the day without thinking of it as exercise. This aligns with what researchers call NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, all the movement you do that isn't formal exercise. Walking to the market, cooking, climbing stairs, kneeling to tend garden. Movement that connects body and mind. Movement that doesn't punish, it nourishes. The lesson isn't that exercise doesn't matter. The lesson is that consistent, gentle, joyful movement across a lifetime is more powerful than extreme fitness routines that burns you out. If a movement practice hurts or feels like punishment, you will not sustain it for 80 years. Joy is the most important factor. The best exercise is the one you'll actually do tomorrow and the next day. Lesson 8. Take it slow. Stop rushing. This might be the one that hits the hardest in 2026. We have been sold the idea that busyness is virtue, that speed is success, that if you're not rushing, you're falling behind. Ikigai gently but firmly dismantles that. There's an Okinawan saying, walk slowly and you'll go far. The people in Okinawa move slowly. They eat slowly. They walk slowly. They wake slowly. They don't schedule every hour of every day. There are long stretches of simply being. And I think we've forgotten that being is allowed. When you're rushing, your vision narrows. You stop seeing color. You stop noticing people. You're physically present, but mentally already at the next thing, the next task, the next worry. There's a Japanese concept that connects here, ma, which means pause, space, the gap between things. In music, in conversation, in life, the Japanese consider those pauses not as emptiness, but as meaning. We are so uncomfortable with pauses, with doing nothing. We reach for our phones the second there's a quiet moment. Rushing is a habit, and slowness is a practice you have to rebuild. Walk without checking your phone. Eat without a screen. Sit without an agenda. It feels unnatural at first, but over time, you start to notice that the life you were rushing through is actually here, waiting for you. Lesson 9. Reconnect with nature. The Japanese have a practice called Shinrin-ryoku, forest bathing. It's not hiking, it's not exercise, it's simply being in the presence of trees, letting your nervous system settle into the natural rhythm of a forest. In Okinawa, the line between indoors and outdoors is soft. You're never far from green, from water, from the sound of wind. And the book argues that this isn't a luxury. It's a biological need we've accidentally engineered out of our lives. We spend our days in boxes, staring at smaller boxes, bombarded by artificial light and manufactured sound. Our brains didn't evolve for this. The patterns of leaves, the nonlinear sounds of birds and water, these things literally calm your nervous system at a physiological level. And you don't need to move to a forest. The micro version works too. Eating lunch at a park, looking up at the sky, noticing the moon, listening to the rain. These tiny reconnections tell your body you're not in danger. You're here. You're part of something bigger and slower. So those were the 9 lessons. And if I zoom out, what I see isn't a checklist. It's an ecosystem. Each one feeds the others. Movement supports mood. Community supports resilience. Purpose makes the slowing down and the eating well and the showing up feel worth doing. If I had to put it all into one sentence, something to carry with you, it's this. Keep your mind busy with something that matters. Move your body in ways that feel good. Keep your people close, not digitally, but really, physically, in the same room, laughing about nothing, and always have a reason to get out of bed. I'd love to know which of these lessons you actually needed to hear today. Leave me a comment and let's talk about it. If this brought you a little peace, subscribe and stick around. There are so many more books to explore together. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.